Hey guys, what's up? I am Matthew.
What up? I'm George.
Hey, and this is.
What?
Hey, I said hey twice. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Matthew,
And I'm George.
and today we are going to be discussing the first part of this crazy series where we watch every single Chevy Chase film, starting with Fletch, going to whatever other films, he's in. So, today we are going to talk about that. We watched Fletch last night. Did you have any preconceived notions going into it?
The only thing I thought about before watching the movie was that I thought it was going to be a comedy.
A comedy?
That's mainly the only thing I thought, because I mean, we saw like a clip or two back with your uncle, and it seemed more like a comedy than what it actually was when we saw the movie.
Yeah, it was definitely an older film, which is completely fine. We're definitely watching this film after its time, and to put a frame of reference, I am 20, and my bro here George is also 20. So this movie came out in 1985. So super. It's not super old, but it's an older film, and
It's older than we are.
yeah. So I mean, by all means, it wasn't a bad film. I just definitely think it should have been called a comedy. Now, to talk about some of the parts I liked, I really enjoyed the pacing of it. I thought it was very nicely paced. I thought the filming was great. And by filming, I mean like there wasn't too many lulls. There wasn't too many like parts in the film where you're just like kind of like dragging on. Now, if you weren't paying attention, there was stuff to kind of there was a bit of like slapstick humor where you didn't have to have any direct context for it to be funny, but it was even funnier if you knew what exactly was going on. But regardless of whether or not you were watching the film intently or were just casually just watching, it was still a funny film. That's that.
You pretty much got it right there, straight on.
Straight on.
You've already explained the entire thing, man.
Entire thing.
Yeah.
The only thing so there's a few parts I don't like. I felt like the beginning was like odd. I felt like it was so spoiler alert. Spoiler. I mean, you've had time. It's been what, like 30 years.
Probably even more than that.
But yeah. So it starts off with Fletch, our boy Chevy Chase, as a bum. He's a beach drifter, just casually walking around, and he's just doing his investigative reporting. Oh, by the way, Chevy Chase plays Fletch. He is a investigative crime reporter. He changes his name
he was
to
just a journalist
or journalist reporters. It's almost the same thing. What he does is he changes his name to get information illegally, to get like the inside scoop of stories and stuff. And it starts off with him in his element, and he is pretending to be a beach bum, and he is going around getting information on the main story, which is the fact that his city is there's a big like drug problem on the beach, and he is just trying to clean it up, trying to find the inside scoop. And yeah, and I felt like that the beginning part at least was a little bit slow, a little bit kind of slow hitting, and you honestly could care less. But once like Chevy Chase starts mingling and interacting with this film's antagonist, it starts getting more uppity up.
I wouldn't say it's slow. I mean, what I would say.
You want this one?
What the hell? Okay, no, it's fine. Yeah. No, wait, actually, no. Sorry, I don't want. Thank you.
Well, okay. What I would say is that, like, I'd say that the film kept a good pace throughout the entirety of its length, because one thing that I really didn't like was that it sort of went on, like, me personally, I didn't catch on to what the film was to what the entire film was doing until it got to the end where everything started piecing together,
I definitely felt felt the same way. I've seen clips online. I thought the whole bit of the film was he was somebody, he was like a, what's that movie where it's like you're like a, it's like dude, no, it's not Criminal Mastermind, but it's like a really old movie. It's the Master of Disguise, and the whole premise of the film is, this guy has the charisma and ability to change who he is, to kind of like
Yeah.
to kind of get better info. And I thought that was the bit. I didn't know that there was going to be this huge underlying plot, and that was a bit surprising. But I kind of figured that part out in the beginning ish, whenever he was hired to kill the antagonist, and I kind of got that part, but I didn't expect it, because again,
Mm-hmm.
I thought the movie was a comedy rather than a thriller. But there were
Yeah.
definitely some. I would say it's more of a comedy than a thriller, but it definitely has some thriller-esque aspects. But
I
I
definitely say the thriller-esque aspects you're talking about were sort of like elements back in the when it came out, like 75, 85, right?
85, yeah,
Back in the 80s, I would say, because the thriller aspects now are much more different than it was back then.
yeah. Like what would be some of the thriller aspects back then? Like
Like I'd say it would be just like it's hard because like it's definitely like I'd say like a soft core action movie,
softcore action movie.
a soft core action comedy movie.
Yeah, I would say that
I would say something like that. Whereas like a thriller aspect now would be something like
softcore.
I mean there's no other way to explain it.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I would say it's more of a like the thriller aspects today are like Taken, you know. You seen the
yeah,
movie Taken?
yeah, yeah.
It's like that.
Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
Where it's just all gung ho. Plot is
That and there's like
optional.
there's like those certain points of suspense. Like certain points of suspense throughout the movie that like it has some suspense but not enough to make it a horror.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. I mean, I don't think it's ever going to try and be a horror, but
Oh yeah, there was no point in that in Fletch where it tried to be a horror.
it was good.
Maybe except for that dog scene, but that was more of a comedy act than a horror.
All right, so what? Final thoughts. What would you rate Fletcher from like A to F scale?
A to F?
A to F, yeah.
I'd give it a B.
A B?
I'd give it a B because throughout the entire movie, I didn't really get what was going on. That's the best way I could put it out. I didn't really get what was going on until like the last act, to like the last third of the movie. That's when things started getting together because throughout the movie I thought he was just going from like where do you live at L.A.
Yeah.
L.A. then to Utah then to L.A. and back again. Until and then like at the last act things things that he got was starting to get together and stuff. And then like my dislikes sort of started going away throughout that last act, basically.
Mm.
And then I did like the movie. I wouldn't say I would enjoy. I say I'd enjoy some of it. I wouldn't say I enjoyed all of it. I did. I wasn't a big fan like around the beginning.
Mm.
And then when the middle and the end, I started. That's when I began liking it and stuff.
Makes sense to me. You get time to acclimate and develop alongside with the characters.
Yeah.
I would give this film a solid B plus, simply because once you've seen it's a really good film to watch at least once, because it's a good example of everything being able to be tied together. It's Chevy Chase. It's good acting. It's a good slapstick humor. It's not over the top where it's like Will Ferrell humor where it's like just foul and he doesn't have to curse a lot. It's just him being like witty and good.
Yeah.
And it's not it's not vulgar and nudity based humor, which I really appreciate and really enjoy, because it doesn't seem like it's more natural. And I give it a B plus, simply for the fact that it's not exactly poorly written. I think there's aspects in which it could have been better polished in terms of pacing and writing, but I think overall it does its job, has a good story. It ties everything up. There's no loose ends, and
Mm-hmm.
the ending is good. He gets
Yeah.
the girl. Boom, done. Complete. Like
I like how he still ended up using the benefits that he got. Like when
yeah.
in the beginning, like when the antagonist says like, "Oh, you need to kill me," and then you go to Rio and stuff. I like how he still ended up using those benefits.
Oh yeah.
So
He
in a way, that's still a bit of an anti-heroic move.
anti-heroic move. I feel
Yeah.
like anti-heroes are pretty good too.
I'd say that Fletch, he sort of binds a line. He sort of like jumps between the line of being a hero and an anti-hero.
That's fair. Okay. Well, guys, thank you guys for joining us on our very first podcast / movie review. Our format for the rest of these films might be similar. They might change up, but stay tuned and expect some more quality content, guys. Again, I'm Matthew,
I'm George.
and thank you guys for watching Fletch with us.
I look like